Welcome, everybody. It's the Melon Man, and I'm back with a new friend, Josh Stone. Josh has been introduced to me by Lee Molson. I've never met Josh. I've just had a very short little talk with him, and I can already tell it's going to be interesting. Josh is a musician. He is a truth seeker, and he's into maximizing his human experience by manipulating thought and word. He's deeply into energy, frequency, and vibration. And he's lost 110 pounds in the last 8 months. So I think this is an interesting conversation because I get a lot of people asking me about weight loss all the time. Josh, please share with me what you've learned, what you've gained from this experience. What happened to you that made this happen? And please show that picture that you had of you 110 pounds
right,
heavier.
yeah. I'll show the picture.
Look at that.
There is me last year. And here's me now.
110 pounds. That's amazing, buddy.
Thank you.
What happened, Josh? What happened, man?
Like we were just talking about, it's a flip of a switch. It's a mindset. It's rethinking how you look at your food, how you look at your body, and changing that vibration. Like we were just talking about, I think that weight is a frequency. If we can just kind of stay in that conversation, that'd be awesome.
Yes, please. Let's do that.
I love the idea of us thinking in terms of tone. Like when we even say it, like I want to get toned. I just want to tone up. And so when you think, that's a sound, so we can change the vibration and the frequency in us, and you can lose the weight, the frequency by can I show you the days of the week, just to stay in the conversation we were in, because it was awesome. But the days of the week. So when you think of food, when you go to the supermarket, you buy food for the strength. They have our words, and our language is designed to, put spells on us. That's why they're called spellings. So if you just change the letters in the days of the week, like the days of the week on the calendar, and you change it, then it becomes the days. We're in a days and we're a week. And they would like to keep us in a days and week. We're easier to control. But we use these words, like we say good morning, and we just put a spell on each other. And we say it every day. We just told each other to mourn. And it puts us in that mindset all day, to be down, to lower our vibration. So if we can change that vibration and raise up above those words, above that currency, into a little bit of a higher frequency, you can start to see kind of like what's going on around you, and how energy is being manipulated, and how we're actually harnessed. Our energy is being harnessed. So they keep us at a certain tone. Like have a good weekend. I just told you to be weakened. So have a good strength, So it's just changing words a little bit, rethinking that, and it's okay. It's just how it's set up, and we can just kind of wake up to it and see it a little bit, and then still be able to function. And every normal, it's not a rebellion. It's just being aware and seeing it, and then being okay with it, and then sharing that kind of like, because it's lovely. It's enlightening. It's empowering. It's liberating. And you want to share that. You just want other people to feel that, because it's a great feeling. you've liberated yourself from that mindset.
So you're saying that you were stuck in incorrect thought and word.
Yeah, it's maybe not totally aware of it. I think I've always been onto it because I've always written music and lyrics, and I've always kind of dabbled with playing with words in my lyrics. And I kind of never knew why. I would kind of write them and not even really be thinking about it, and they would just kind of come out, and I would be done with the song or whatever, and never fully understand what I was actually saying in the words. But now looking back at some of those lyrics, just as you grow, you evolve and you see new things. So I didn't see it then, I see it now, and I kind of read them. I'm like, okay, this is the track I was on. That's why I'm here. I wasn't fully aware of it yet. So it's an interesting process, vibrating.
So you've had some sort of awakening over the last 8 months?
Yeah, I think maybe for the last few years, kind of waking up to looking at some of the when you start to realize you've been lied to, and if you look at things with just because I've always questioned things. I've always been somebody who questions things, not in a negative way. I wonder if, blah, blah, blah. So I'll look into things and from a different angle, just to experiment with it, really for fun, and so I'll look into theories about Earth and theories about energy and how it may be free, maybe we have free energy and it's being harvested and distributed for free, and maybe we're being charged for fake fossil fuels. They'd make a ton of dough off that if they're getting it for free. maybe the Tesla coils, remember Tesla and his Tesla coil being able to harvest that alternating current, and they said they didn't use them. Maybe they do. Maybe that's what all those quote unquote 5G towers are. Maybe they're Tesla coils. They're harvesting free energy and powering the cities. Electricity. Battery Park, And then if you look at, I wish I had one with me. If you look at like a motherboard, they're set up and they look just like a city. So maybe, but I like looking into it and thinking about it. It's fun.
Okay. I think I've heard some thoughts like this before. I'm not super familiar with it, but I have heard a couple of thoughts like this before. So it's interesting. I want to corner down before we get more into the thoughts and words and energy. I want to come right back down to what has actually happened in the last 8 months, because I really think that my network will be extremely excited to hear how you lost 110 pounds in 8 months.
All right, I'll break it down just like the basics. I'll come back down to earth here a little bit. So I did take it very serious. And it was a flip of a switch. It was literally one day, days, one circuit. I literally decided this is going to happen. I'm done feeling this way. I'm done with this excess, all these layers that I've put on me over the years. They're blocking. I need to get healthy, and I want my kids to see me get healthy, and stuff like that. So
Can I just ask you what happened in that moment prior to that?
Well, I definitely was going through maybe a rough year prior to that, some ups and downs.
Yeah.
And some shifts and stuff like that, and just going through nothing major, but normal life stuff, but stuff that had to be dealt with that was stressful.
Yes.
But so I've gone the opposite way before in the past, in a stressful moment. I've gotten unhealthy as a result. And this time I consciously thought, no, get healthy as a result of this. Turn it into something else. Try it.
You chose to take a proactive approach. Like you said, I'm gonna change my life rather than taking like a negative behavior. I'm gonna choose a positive behavior to cope with this situation that I'm in.
Yeah, the getting polarized. Getting yourself in the middle of the negative and the positive, and not too far in one direction. Just trying to find that middle center.
The middle ground, yes.
Yeah. So depolarizing, I think, is such an important process because it keeps you from being angry or too far one direction or this way. And so I definitely started with trying to depolarize. So
getting neutral about what was going on. So, there's a situation going on. It's not really good or bad. It's just a situation.
Right. And taking it on with that kind of attitude.
There's this situation going on, and I can now start to picture how I want that situation to turn out, and I want it to turn out in a positive way.
Yeah, and if you actually say those words out loud and kind of project that into your subconscious, thoughts become things. So if you put that into your subconscious, and then it will manifest into your life. You have to be open to see the synchronicities around you, because your subconscious doesn't communicate through words. It communicates through synchronicity or sight, sounds, things that happen that are like, that was odd. That's communication.
So somebody says something to you, you see a movie, you hear something in a song, it just appears in your mind as an insight, or you get a book, or somebody gives you something, or just some knowledge comes your way all of a sudden because you've put it out there by thinking about it, perhaps writing it down, speaking it out, and making a commitment to it. Maybe first thing in the morning, getting up in a quiet time of the day and thinking about it and saying it and visualizing it and talking about it and studying it on it and focusing on it and meditating on it and asking people about it and getting around that information as much as you can and processing it in your mind.
Yeah, totally. Like I would literally wake up in the morning, sit on the edge of my bed and say, today's going to be an awesome day. Even if I felt like crap when I woke up, I say those positive things. I would even leave positive notes around the house. I recommend that to everybody, trying to lose weight or just even change. You're in a negative situation and you kind of want to just, what can I do? You can do magic. If you're not doing magic to yourself, something else will for you. So I try to do good magic on myself,
So
if you're not controlling your mind, something else will for you.
Affirmations are important. Thoughts and words are important. They command us. They manage our lives.
Totally. And you can use your will to make words work for you. It's one of the big secrets. That's what all the society is about. Is don't talk about your magic or it won't work.
Okay,
and
so there's a power within us, and it's commanded and directed by our thoughts and words, by our will. And we have that power within us. And if we're careless with our thoughts and words, then that power will actually work against us.
Yeah.
And if we come to awareness of the power that we have within us, then we can start using that power properly in our lives by being very specific with our thought and word.
Yeah. Intent. And then having gratitude. You have to show the gratitude as these things start to come to you, and you're able to kind of harvest those thoughts, and your subconscious is manifesting it for you. Gratitude, that's the next step. Having gratitude, being thankful for it, saying that out loud. Say, thank you for giving me the strength to be able to do this and to continue to lose weight. I've said that every day when I was doing this, and having gratitude and saying thank you for the people that care in my life, and so that continues to keep that channel open, is being open and having gratitude for receiving it.
I think that's a really important one, Josh, because, I bump into people all the time trying to lose weight. And I get people often, I only lost a pound this week. I only lost 2 pounds. Like, what's wrong? Why doesn't it work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you just said there is you've got to get thankful for what you got, isn't it? Like if you lost a pound this week, you've got to get to gratitude about that pound, don't you?
Yeah. Give gratitude and thank yourself and enjoy it. Be happy with it. Look in the mirror and enjoy it. It's not in a vain way, not with an ego. Dropping your ego is actually a really important step too. That helps you be aware of things that are being told you. We don't like to be lied to. We don't like to be lied to, and our ego protects us from not seeing those lies. Oh, you can't. Oh no, I can't. I couldn't be fooled. But once you can drop that ego, then you realize you were fooled. Then you can just be like, okay, I know, not going to get me again. But this was a process kind of before my weight loss. So I'm kind of like telling you kind of how I got there. I was able to start applying careful thought into it. I don't know what it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. And then once you decided that you're going to lose this weight and you made a real conscious commitment to your thought and word, you started to get really conscious about it. What did you do? What did you do physically? Yeah.
Physically. Okay. So I started out pretty easy. I was 265. I was a bigger guy, and it's okay. It happens. It just happens. It just happens to us. Our metabolism slows down, and us guys, we just get bigger. It happens. So I just want to say that because I don't want anybody to feel bad. That's when I have trouble talking about my weight loss with people because I don't want anybody to feel bad, or like that. What I mean? So I think that's
really important. I think that's really important, Josh. I think it's really important because people get down about their weight loss, but they also get down about their financial situation. They get down about their relationship situation. They get down about their health situation. Whatever situation you're in, I think that's an important one. Whatever situation you're in, things happen. Shit happens. Stuff happens to all of us.
Right.
All of us. Different things. Some people it's weight. Some people it's money. Some people it's relationship. Some people it's different types of relationships. Some people it's health. Whatever it is, that's
multiple.
Multiple things, right. Whatever wheel has fallen off your wagon, that's okay. We can pull it back together.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever wheel fell off, that doesn't matter. You've got the power within you to fix it.
You do. I mean, I was lazy. I was all that. So I mean, yeah. It's kind of like one of the common saying: "If I can do it, you can do it."
Awesome. Awesome.
You know,
Awesome. Okay. So what did you do next? What'd you do next?
So as far as like, then I started looking into kind of like the calories, all the normal weight loss process. And I just kind of did it myself, and I looked into things and researched it. I lowered my calories down under 1,000. But I was taking a multivitamin, so I changed my diet, and I was making sure I was eating a lot of fruit and stuff like that. So I was trying to stay healthy during the process, because you can get unhealthy trying to lose weight. So I wanted to make sure I was still putting the right nutrients into me, the right ones at the right time of the day, and but I did lower my calories down to under 1,000. And I started working out. I bike, so a lot of cardio, and you can buy these things that it props your back wheel up, and there's a little resistance bar. They're like $100. So it's a remedy if you don't have a ton of dough, but you do have a bike already. $100 usually, I think that's about what they are. So you can prop that and just ride your bike, and 15, 20 minutes to begin with. You don't have to go hard. Just get your heart rate up and burn some calories, and maybe try to get to a sweat. It's easier in the beginning to sweat because you don't have the endurance yet. So the weight comes off very, 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 very fast the first month. I mean, I think I was literally losing 1.5 pounds a day. 1.5 pounds a day for like 40 days, because I was so on it. And then I started doubling my workouts. So I was doing about a half hour in the morning. And when I say workouts, some biking, some sit-ups, some push-ups, maybe I have some free weights, just to burn calories and build muscle, because muscle burns calories. Muscle helps you burn calories. And I learned that early on. I'm like, okay, I'm 45. I need the assistance. So I'm going to put on some muscle to help burn the calorie once I get the weight off to maintain. Because that's a whole other conversation. It can be in this conversation. It's a whole other mindset, is maintaining. And that's the new one I'm in now. It's different because all of a sudden that like drive, I got to lose weight. It's like, okay, it's all gone. There's nothing else to lose. Now what's the drive? So you have to change your mode and everything. That's fine. But so, then I started doubling the workout. I started doing one in the morning and one in the evening. And it just pushed it along. Now I was in a unique situation where I was able to do this. I was able to only have the food that I want in my house, and my schedule was just right and stuff like that. So I had an ideal schedule to pretty much dedicate my whole day every day to that diet and that regimen. You know what I mean? I know some people, like, they have more members living in their house, and it's hard to do that. It's harder. So I was able to do that. That's why it happened so quickly in 8 months, because I was in a situation to be able to do it. And yeah, and then I just kind of stayed on the double workout, and then you hit these plateaus. I remember, I was keeping track on my calendar, on my calories, just basics, the calories, what my workouts, and then you start taking a break, like 1 day a week. That's the other thing. I was doing this like 7 days a week. I still am. I still work out twice a day. I like the sweating process and getting some toxins out. So that's a great feeling, and to start off from the opening, and then same in the evening, just kind of burn off a few calories. And then it's mental, because I was bigger. So kind of like once you're bigger, you kind of always still think you are, even when you've lost the weight.
Yeah.
like being a smoker or whatever, but you always kind of still feel like I'm that big guy, so it's mental too, staying on the workouts and stuff like that, but I think that's good. It helps me maintain it. So that's kind of it. Now, so like when you get down to a certain weight, about halfway through this process, I kind of stopped losing weight. And that's when you got to start realizing, okay, maybe I need to change my diet a little bit and change the workout, change the routine, because your body gets familiar with it and it stops, working for you. You got to challenge your body. If you're not challenging yourself, you're not changing yourself physically. So if it's not like, if you're not done with that workout and kind of like huffing and puffing and sweating a little bit, you really haven't done much. You've maybe burned some calories, which is good. So even if like that's all you can do is get on the bike and do 15 minutes, say you didn't sweat like a pig or whatever, you still burn some calories. So still do that. I would still, do that. There were days I had like that where, it was just okay. Maybe I burned 300 calories. Like,
just a light
wasn't that
day.
hard
If
of a
you have a
workout.
light day sometimes.
Right. And then not beating yourself up and, it's like, well, I still did something, so yeah, a lot of talking to yourself goes into it.
A lot of self-talk.
Yeah.
Getting comfortable with yourself, being gentle with yourself,
Yeah.
being your own best friend a little bit.
Yeah.
Becoming your own friend, becoming your own good friend.
I would tell people that like doing this and this whole thing I'm doing, it's my companion. This is my companion in life. I treated it as a person, an entity in my life. And so I treated it with respect as I would try to treat a human. I treated the whole process as an entity that was living with me and a part of me. And so that's where the gratitude comes in and stuff like that. And it's a frequency that follows you around.
So you started to treat yourself maybe with some respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You started to maybe.
Yeah. And I'm into a lot of weird research stuff, like interesting stuff. And people definitely take you a little more serious when you're a little more fit. If you're talking about weird stuff,
Weird stuff, what's weird, right? What's weird?
Right.
It's all opinion. And
Right.
And we've really got to throw out the judgment, right?
Right.
With each other, right? We've really
Yeah.
got to try to not judge each other, don't we? It's not easy.
Yeah.
But we do it. We naturally do it, and we need to stop doing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And just making good connections with people and letting the negative connections filter out. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's not for bad reasons. It's for good reasons.
Letting go of some people in your life. Sometimes people in your life have to go.
Yeah. It's all right. Maybe they'll come back around.
Some people maybe have to go. Some habits may have to go. Some behavior may have to go. Even stuff that maybe you liked or, that you've always liked or people that you've always liked. But for whatever reason, they're shifting. Your energy is shifting. Your life is changing. And for whatever reason, that behavior or that person or that thing isn't really a fit for you any longer.
Right.
And we just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Not be too attached to anything, because things can change and be different.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of roll with it a little bit, like you think it's this way. Oh, it's not.
Oh, there was something else I was going to tell you that I think is important as far as weight loss goes. Something that I did is I cut out oils like butter, any cooking oils, So it cuts a lot of sweet things out of your life too. Things that are baked. But even if you can not do the oils for a while, so I mean a little bit of oil, whatever. But I'm very conscious about oil, putting oil into me because that's fat. And I look at it like if you don't put it in you don't have to burn it off yet. So there's a way to kind of like, after you've kind of gotten to the weight you want to be, changing your diet to not put fat in you so you don't get big again. You're just putting like just stuff that's just your body's going to use as a fuel that day, and you're going to burn off naturally or with your workout. Like I was talking earlier, going to the grocery store to buy food for the strength, not the weak. And when you change that word a little bit, you look at food differently as you walk through the grocery store. What is going to give me strength? And then you start to crave that, because it actually does, and you see results, and it changes food. It kind of takes it off the pedestal a little bit. I used to love to cook. I was a chef. I was going to school for it, and it's definitely during the time I was getting big. But I realized, man, I'm always thinking about food all the time. So it's up on this pedestal. So I try not to cook. I try to just make it very simple and very like nonchalant. So I'm not always thinking about food, So that's another little kind of trick that I'm using. It's just taking food off the pedestal and the oils. Trying not to put fatty stuff into me, so I don't have to burn it off. I don't want to work out twice a day forever. I want to find a kind of a neutral ground there, but you do kind of get obsessed, I guess. So it becomes part of what you are, and that's okay,
So you went on a pretty low caloric regimen, and you're still on a pretty low caloric regimen.
It's up now, only because my body doesn't have any more reserve to eat from, because your body's eating away your fat as you're losing it. It thinks you're dying when you're not getting calories in you, and you're burning more calories than normal. It thinks you're dying, so it starts to eat the reserves that you've stored up, that fat, quote unquote. Your body eats itself to survive. And so once it's gone, there's nothing more for it to eat. So you actually need calorie intake, because you don't have any reserves left. So that's when it's about like, okay, what am I going to put in me so my body uses the right way and I stay where I'm at? And that's, but I have raised the calorie level a little bit. I'm probably at I don't really count, but I got a good feel for it now. I'm probably around 1,200, maybe 1,500 a day. And it seems to be enough. I mean,
I don't eat that most days of the week. I'm around there most days of the week. Yeah, 1,300. I don't exceed 1,500 calories, I don't think, most days of the week. But then I do relax on the weekend with my family. So with my family, I do tend to definitely indulge more. And when
my daughter and I went to dinner last night, and we indulged a little bit.
Yeah.
We shared a brownie. It's cool. Once in a while to enjoy. Hey, come on! I lost a lot of weight. I can enjoy. I can have a day where I can just kind of enjoy food, and not be hungry at all. Be full. It's important to do that every now and again during the weight loss.
I think so. Yeah. I think you need to give yourself. I think I try to tell my customers to take a day each week where you can have a meal and do that guilt free. You don't want it to become a point where you're afraid of food or you can't eat food. it has to be a freedom, right? There has to be a freedom to it. It can't feel like a prison.
Yeah. You can't, with food, having those I called it eat days instead of cheat days. So just to make it a little more fun and not like a negative word. Why put a negative word on it? I'll call it eat day. It's my eat day, and be happy about it. Enjoy it. But yeah, also being like in print, like I like that you brought that up because when I was first doing this, I was doing it by the clock, how long I was riding. And when I hit a plateau, one of the little tweaks that I did was, okay, stop being a prisoner to time and change the intensity of the workout. And so it was about kind of like doing like longer cardio sprints at a higher rate and doing like maybe 12 of them, 2 minutes each with a little recovery in between. And then so you intensified the workout, you shorten the amount of time you have to do it, which is nice. And you all of a sudden have dropped the clock and you're not a prisoner to the time of it anymore. So it's a nice little tweak, and they're just little ideas and tweaks you can do and experiments you can do to change your attitude towards it.
Yeah, sometimes when I design my workouts, I work with the clock on minute intervals or 30-second intervals or 2-minute intervals. And sometimes I work on the repetitions just to change the feeling or the cadence or the experience of the workout, right? Just to change that experience a little bit, just to break the monotony and overcome any limitation. Oh, I got to do 30 minutes. This boundary that's on your mind, you've got this limitation inside that's blocking you from going towards attacking your workout in a positive, inspired way.
Yeah, it's one of the few things you can do that you can hate and it still makes you feel good. You
always feel better afterwards, right? You always feel better afterwards, right?
Some days you just hate going into it, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, but it still makes you feel good at the end. It's one of the things you can hate doing and it still makes you feel good.
So I really appreciate your exercise share and your nutrition share. I really like to get people away from being focused on food. I'm into unfooding. I'm into fasting. So I'm really big on telling people to, I really like that you've dropped your calories low like that. It's not about, eating. It's definitely not about eating. It's about learning how to live on less, right?
Yeah.
And being happy on less and being able to function on less. And it's an adjustment in the mind. I really like that you brought the mind into it. I really like that you talked about the power that's within you. I really like that you talked about the words and the affirmations and bringing that into your life. I want to come back to the thoughts and the words a little bit. Maybe if we can finish off bringing it back to that, which is where we started. And, you talked about the spells. You talked about the spells that we get under with our words and how we can overcome the spells that we're under by changing our words. You talked about the days of the week. You talked about the weekend, morning. You talked about, saying, good morning, like getting people, we're all kind of keeping each other in a spell by the words that we're saying to each other, right?
That's what it was designed for.
Yeah. So you're
exactly what it was. Oh, sorry.
You think that somebody is created the English language in a way that it's holding us down? Do you think?
100%.
100%.
And the more I study words and break them down, it's very clever. It is very by design. So it has been created to keep us in a frequency, keep us in a daze.
Interesting.
Interesting. Words are spelled. That's why they're called spelling. First,
because I really do feel like, a lot of information is being withheld from us, or actually incorrect information is being shared with us. And that's done purposely to hold us down and suppress us and keep us unhealthy, keep us trapped, and keep us unable to move forward and be our maximum self and become all that we can be. But I really like.
They don't want us waking up to it.
Who do you think that is? Like, who do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't talk on it because I don't know. I just see the results of it. So that's what I go around experimenting with, is what I can see, what I can go out, shoot video of myself and think on it like that. So it's just little, because it's kind of, outside the box thinking, but I try to keep it real by it being me actually going and doing it, and not just pulling video off of the internet and talking about it, like actually going out and getting video and then talking about it that way. I try to look at it kind of in a scientific way, where it's things that I can go observe, test, and then share them, and get feedback and have other people challenge that, because that's an important process in the scientific method, is questioning, then observing, testing, sharing the results with your peers, and so I kind of look at it like that. A little bit,
discussing, right? Yeah. So you know what I really like about this conversation right now is that like you said, there appears to be some sort of design here with the words. We're not sure who designed the words, and I'm saying the information or why it seems like we're being held down. And I've often contemplated this, and I also wonder if it's actually a person or a group of people, or if it's more just the alternative energy that exists on this planet. That there's just two energies that exist on this planet. There's a positive and a negative, and not that one is good and the other one's bad, but just a polarization of energy, and energy moves from one side to the other. And the only way that we can move forward is if we're moving forward toward another energy, like we're being so
and just on that, because you brought up the poles again, another way that they control us is at the polls. When you go to vote, you're not going to vote, you're going to vote. You're voting, and you're voting for a negative or a positive, and the one that gets the most votes is put into power in DC. It's all electrical based. And if you look at the layout of a polling station, it is schematics of a circuit. You could just, I don't have a visual of that, but yeah. So you vote, we're voting. So our energy is being harvested through when we go to the polling station, which is electrical. You got the negative and the positive. And the one that gets the most volts is put into power, which is electrical, up into direct current, DC.
Wow. Okay, so, and like I say, I've heard people talking about this before, so I'd love for you to maybe expand on it.
That's not I've kind of come across that through learning through other people as well.
Yes. So, I'm hearing people talk about it, so I would love to gather some more information about it. The energy of the human body being harnessed. Do you think it's possible? Like
Yeah.
you're saying the Tesla
Yeah.
coils it's possible to collect the energy of humans in cities. And
Yes. I'm 100%. I think that's what they're doing. Yeah, just a lot of studying goes into it and a lot of experimenting. Like think about, just did a video on this. Think about a stadium. So when you go to, when they collect all those people into that stadium and you hear people say, oh, it's electrified, you know, and they get us cheering, they get us fighting, they get us like wanting our team to win, the booster club. So we are becoming human boosters when we are put into those stadiums, and it is boosting the atmospheric frequency and signal that they're harvesting. And our sports schedules aren't actually about the game per se, they're about when they need those boosts on the motherboard.
interesting.
So we're brought into the stadiums and we're human boosters.
So you're saying in the stadiums they have some sort of receivers?
I think it's just harvested out of the air because air is electrical. You know, the higher up you go, air is electrical. I actually think that planes, like jet turbines, use the air as fuel. I don't think they use liquid fuel. When I start to look into how much liquid fuel goes into the wings of a plane, it's like 10 metric tons or something. I don't have the exact, but it's like a pile of buses on each wing, yet they don't dip. And think about flight with all that liquid in there, a little turbulence, those wings will come right off. So I don't think they use liquid. I think those jet turbines are designed to use that Fibonacci sequence and pull that electrified air through it, compress it, and then that turns it into a gas, which is then used to fuel it. I think jet fuel is a hoax.
So
I mean, think about it. If they could do that and get away with it, wouldn't they? That's what I always say. It charge us all, you know, for expensive plane tickets, saying that the fuel costs so much, and yet they're not even using it. They're called airplanes, airplanes, because they use the air.
well, I mean, I know I put gas in my car, and I know that when it runs out of gas, it doesn't go.
Yeah. Well, you know, that would be a different engine. This would be, I'm talking, you know, the turbine, the jet turbine. I think it's a free energy engine. I think it's amazing. You know, if we have that and it's not being, that's being hidden from us, like that's kind of crummy. No, like we should be using that on everything. That would solve the energy crisis, right? But if one industry kind of owns it and has control of monopoly over it, and they're using it and not sharing it, that's mean. That's something I'd look into.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's usually new to people. But yeah, that's floating around out there. There's some other people looking into that. What else? What else do we want to talk about?
Well, I'm intrigued by this idea that, you know, there's energy being harvested. Do you feel that there's some other ways that it's happening? Okay, you talked about stadiums. I mean, I've heard people say it in the cities. You've mentioned it in the airplanes, potentially that we're being charged, I guess, for fuel, and maybe they're not actually putting fuel into them, or maybe fuel is just being used not just to tote around on the ground.
Right. Yeah, you have to use some fuel for maybe some
takeoff.
I don't know. Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Driving around. Yeah.
The motor that would actually kind of make the wheels go and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the flight, you know, it's lift off, so they resonate. Those turbines, they're so cool. They resonate at a certain frequency that actually levitates the plane. So they are actually, the plane's levitating. It's floating due to the frequency vibration that those turbines have. Like there's like tuning forks inside of them that they can actually tune. So it gets a certain frequency. It's kind of like how bumblebees fly. You know, bumblebees don't use their wings to fly. They vibrate to fly. They levitate. Their wings just move them around. So it's kind of the same principle. Planes doing it that way. And the turbines need air, which is electrical. I think air is just electrical, and everything is kind of powered for free.
Wow.
And so, you know, like fossil fuels, that would be the fake source of fuel in their whole scheme. So, you know, if we're going to, so if they figured out like 100 years ago that I definitely know that thousands of years ago they already had this figured out. And that's what all the pyramids were. They were basically Tesla coils powering everything, harnessing the free energy and powering everything. Something happened, an event, a flood or something happened. And, you know, civilization started over. And they finally kind of refigured out how to harness this electricity that some maybe family lines knew about, and held on to that information, kept it secret until they could refigure out how to do it. Maybe a smart guy like Tesla comes along. I don't know, maybe he's a fraud too. But anyway, somebody comes along, they figure out, well, how can we keep this secret? We need a source of fuel. Let's invent dinosaurs. That'll do it. That'll be a never-ending source of fuel. And so then you got your fossil fuels. And maybe that's what happened. You know, maybe that's what's going on.
Dinosaurs. We have bones of dinosaurs, don't we?
There's bones, yeah, but you know, a lot of museums have been busted for, you know, passing off a cast of bones for real, and they've been shut down. You can actually look that up. So, and all the museums say that, you know, none of these bones are out here are actually real.
Yeah.
Those are all kept downstairs. Nobody's allowed to see those.
Right.
So show me the money. You know, because if all you're showing me is a bunch of cats. As far as I know, you don't have any bones, dudes. You made it up. so I can see it.
Dinosaurs. You know? I like this idea. Yeah, like, I mean, dinosaurs are so bizarre, man, and how they went extinct.
How would they even mate? Like those ones with the big spikes on the back. How are they even going to mate? You know, I mean, when you start to think about it, it's pretty ridiculous. You know, I think they designed them ridiculous on purpose because they like to mock us. They like to mock that they know that we're doing this. And so they'll put it out there in plain sight. They tell us all this stuff all the time. They do it through symbolism, though. It's how they communicate. They communicate with the subconscious. That's what all, like marketing, advertising, that's all to get in our subconscious. The words are what they use to kind of trap us. We're so focused on the words that we're not noticing all the symbolism that they're using, that they're communicating with each other through, and then also using to kind of like, you know, be the will in our subconscious. That's why I said earlier, if you're not controlling your mind, something else is for you. So kind of being aware of this and guarding the gates of your mind and not letting that dictate what manifests into your action and your attitude towards people. They're definitely always trying to keep us kind of angry and keep us fighting each other. That's another thing about the polls. You know, they want red versus blue. They want that fight because resistance is assistance. and electricity. You need resistance for it assists the electrical output. So they want a resistance. You know, they start these rebellions online or out there in the world. They create them so that we're always angry or we're emotional. We're never out of that state, that vibration. So they create the divide on purpose. They need it. It's assistance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
And they use the subconscious as a way to make that manifest. It's their magic.
But we can liberate ourselves by choosing, making goals, by making decisions and choosing a direction that we want to go in, and choosing our words and our thoughts and our focus upon that goal. We can awaken the power within ourselves to create the life that we want, rather than just following through with the reality that others will just take advantage of us and send us down an unhealthy reality, an unhappy reality, an unfulfilled reality, unless we take control and take charge and create the life that we want to live.
Yeah. I mean, like what I was talking about, that's kind of dark. But what you just said, yes, exactly. It is reversible. Every spell is reversible.
Right.
There's a remedy to everything. And that's kind of what I always want to, I want to be positive about this stuff. You got to point it out. You got to talk about it. It's a negative thing, but it is reversible, and you can be positive about it. There can be a positive outcome.
Right. So we can get down about the negative information we've been received, the negative circumstances we've been given, the blindness that we've been kept in, the word spells that we've been given, the poor bad situations that cards we've been dealt. Or we can just look at it and it's not good or bad at all. It's just, that's the way it is. That's what it is. That is what life is. Now that we know it, now that we're aware, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it?
How are you going to react to that information? Are you gonna let it bring you down, or are you gonna like come on now, like it's dropping the ego, like, okay, you got me, you fooled me, but
I'm not angry about it. I'm not angry about it.
Yeah, you got me, dude. You got me, dude. But I'm not gonna let you get me again. And
the second half of my life now, I want to live it by design.
Yeah. I want to tell people about it. I want to tell others.
I want to help others. I want to help others to realize the truth that the power is within them too, to change and create the life that they want.
Right. Yeah. It's all positive. 100% positive stuff.
Awesome, Josh. Awesome. Thank you very much for the share today, buddy. I've got to run to my next thing. I've got to get to my next thing on my schedule, but I really appreciate getting a chance to talk with you today. Thank you for sharing with us the story of how much weight you've lost, how you've changed your life by changing your thoughts, changing your words, changing your actions, changing your foods, and most of all, changing your mind.
Yeah. Do good magic on yourself. Do good magic on yourself.
Awesome.
Be the one doing the magic to yourself, and enjoy it.
Awesome, man. Be
happy with yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Super message, brother.
Thank you. It was awesome talking to you.
Same. Likewise, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Awesome.